Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today the Cincinnati Bengals have signed Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to contract extensions. Both players getting 4-year deals. Jamar Chase gets $161, and T. Higgins gets a 4-year, $112 million extension. This all started when T. Higgins posted on X a handshake emoji, and that's when we all started to learn last night that Jamar Chase and T. Higgins had signed these extensions. Jamar Chase, 4-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro this year, won the Triple Crown, and was also Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2021. Is the guy that's going to be making the most out of the money out of the two of Higgins and Chase. That's not surprising, though. 1,700 receiving yards for Chase this season, 127 receptions and 17 receiving touchdowns. Led the NFL in all of those categories, which is how you win the Triple Crown. And that was in all 17 games, 16 starts for Chase this season. Also had 32 rushing yards this season, which is, I mean, that's not a lot, but that's also the most rushing yards he's had in a season, and the least amount of carries he's had in a season, so it wasn't too terrible in that category. 2023 was a Pro Bowler. He's been a Pro Bowler every year in his career. Had 1,216 receiving yards and 7 receiving touchdowns in 2023. 2022, it was a Pro Bowler only playing in 12 games, but still managed to put up 1,046 receiving yards and 9 receiving touchdowns. And then in 2021, as a rookie, he had 1,500 receiving yards and 13 receiving touchdowns as a rookie, and even in the playoffs had 400 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown in the playoffs, and was one of the leaders, or basically the leader of the Bengals offense that went to the Super Bowl that year. Obviously, T. Higgins was great that postseason, really good. T. Higgins had a great postseason that year, but he was the guy that was making huge plays for them, and was Joe Burrow's favorite target throughout their playoff run in their 4 games, and lost in Super Bowl. I think it was Super Bowl 55. No, it might have been. I think it was Super Bowl 57 or Super Bowl 56, something like that. But he was one of Joe Burrow's favorite targets in that in that playoff run where they were able to beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game in Kansas City. Also beat the 1-seed Tennessee Titans in that playoff run as well. Let's get to T. Higgins, though. T. Higgins has been one of Jamar Chase. Has been one of Joe Burrow's favorite targets in his career as well. He's played 5 seasons, and this year had 911 receiving yards and 10 receiving touchdowns, only playing in 12 games. So, imagine what his numbers would have been if he had a full healthy season. That's been a problem the last couple of years, though, because he only played 12 games in 2023, had 700 receiving yards and 5 receiving touchdowns. 2022 for Higgins, he had 1,000 receiving yards and 7 receiving touchdowns in 16 games. 2021, he had 1,100 receiving yards in 14 games. And he's been great as well. So I think another thing that is key to note is that now Jamar Chase, in average money per year, average pay per season, is he'll pass the 2 guys that have recently just been paid, and Myles Garrett and Max Crosby. We saw Max Crosby get a huge contract extension, which made him the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL, and we just recently saw Myles Garrett get his huge contract extension, which also made him the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. And Jamar Chase then passes both Max Crosby and Myles Garrett. I think when you saw the contract extensions with Myles Garrett Myles Garrett and Max Crosby, you knew Jamar Chase was probably going to ask for more than those 2 guys and want to become the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL, or at least make more than guys like CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson, whom CeeDee Lamb makes $34 million, Justin Jefferson makes $35 million. So if not become the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL, become the highest wide receiver paid in the NFL. So, and then also Chase and Higgins become the highest paid wide receiver duo in the NFL. Before that, it was Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle making $58.3 million a year, and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith make $57 million. So Jamar Chase and T. Higgins pass both those wide receiver duos by a lot, by $11 million. So, let me know your thoughts on these signings for the Bengals in the comment section, and peace out.